all over my pants, this
Everywhere.
beer. And then you like ran and got a towel and were like dabbing me. Some sort of confidence overcame me. And I was just like, if you wanted to get into my pants, you could have like,
They did.
You could have just
They
said
totally seized the moment. Oh my God, I was so mortified, and it worked on me.
Raafe liked the pursuit.
Joaquin was the first person who pursued me. Usually I am Lady Panther Day, having to walk up to people and say, hey. We had really great conversations in my kitchen late at night after shows.
Like I'd go over to their house and Raafe would make me like hot chocolate like on the stove and popcorn, and we'd just like sit at the kitchen table eating popcorn and hot chocolate and talking.
At least twice I have been kicked out of a bathroom for being a drag queen. And at least twice Joaquin has been with me.
We got kicked out of the restroom together.
Bomb threats called in, and police not knowing you're a part of the event or if you're an assailant because they don't know what a drag queen is. It's just nice to come home to somebody after being on battling. Oh, I remember when the KKK came to town and you were a medic. We would not have each other if we didn't have that sense of queerness and that sense of wanting to be a part of a community that reflects us.
Yeah, I think you have made this world easier to exist in. I'm already gonna start crying. My name is Joaquin.
My name is Raafe, and this is Meet Cute. Joaquin has been with me through a lot, like my career, striking it out on my own, starting Stormie. They have been roadie, film crew, photographer, producer, agent,
Fan club president,
fan club president, website designer. I think of Joaquin like my aquarium, my safe space, but also my aquatic home. He has been there to see me go from guppy to big fish. Come on, I know it's true. You really stop it. It's really true. Joaquin has been a shield as well from the things that have happened throughout this life. So he's my big old crab shell aquarium shield, coral.
Raafe's always hard to follow up. We're sort of that like seesaw balance wheel, the like typical like introvert extrovert, you know, like homebody, like oh I need my social time, and we've sort of like found our way and our balance pretty seamlessly. But I think when I think of you, you're like my bubble wrap, my security blanket. We do like some blankets. I think you have made this world easier to exist in. I'm already gonna start crying.
You're gonna say all that? Oh wow.
You have both protected me and sort of like let my wings fly and been sort of like, okay, you're ready to get out of the nest too. You go do you and be you.
I'm not gonna throw away bubble wrap ever again. You just made another problem.
No. We got too many containers.
I do think of myself as like, that person that has many hats, and I do love a hat, not to use more sea beach animal, but like hermit crabby, where like, shell to shell, place to place, water to land. I'm who I am when I need to be. I do think of like the roles I take on. I feel like I am my mother's son, but I am this entertainer. I am Joaquin's partner, but I'm also my sibling's sibling. I'm a younger child, but I'm also the head of a drag household. And sometimes there are times when I feel like I get lost in who I am. Joaquin knows I have struggled or even had more conversations on who I am and what I am probably every day. I'll wake up and I'll feel lost in a cloud of calendars and schedules, and Joaquin will be like, it's okay, like, don't put too much on yourself. Like, I'm such a Pisces. Yeah, so I think to myself, I'm a shapeshifter. I'll bend, I'll snake, move your body like a snake, ma. Whatever, sorry. Right? Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I co-sign all of that. It's all true, yes. Yeah. I really pride myself on being like a younger big brother to my siblings. I like want to stop saying like Raafe would say. But I think Raafe would say I'm like a healer. I am a nurse, and that feels like, I know, very much part of like my identity. So like reaching that point was really important for me, and I feel like I tried to bring that to the people around me. My friends would say I'm their like on-call therapist. You know, I field a lot of phone calls, you know, when my friends are going through something, and sort of like trying to listen. And I just try to be a present person. I try to be available and accountable to my people and in my relationship.
I think it's crazy you can't call yourself a healer. Got a whole nursing degree.
It's just odd to say. I'm like, I'm a healer. I don't
You're
know, like I
humble.
just can't.
I know,
like it's
I know,
just,
it's okay.
you know. So I'm just gonna use you as my avenue for that.
I'm fine with that. I do see Joaquin as a role model, as someone who has seen things and been through things that I have not experienced, and he continues to put himself on the line for community in very significant ways. When we first started to date, I was very much so, at the same way he was pulled into the storming of it all, I got to witness this young man have to bear his entire life and what he was doing to strangers and news cameras day after day, and to be also kind of this unknown person who was doing this as well, because, you know, so much is happening in our life and so much of the political system is removed from ourselves and from our queer communities. So like, he was putting himself on the line as a queer person, as a trans person, and I was really struggling with my identity as a queer person because I just don't feel represented often, and that's a hate. And I know that there's many representations of me and people who are my peers, but there are spaces where I'm just like, we are missing, or we are still not here, especially for children whom I work with. And I think there is, Lord, a little child in me, little tiny Raafe, who's just like, you know, I didn't feel like a fantasy growing up, or I didn't feel like the dreams that people told us we were supposed to be having. There was always little things that felt like that locked me away from connecting with a character, connecting with a storyline, or connecting with another person. That whole very queer identity of blazing your own path while bringing into community as you do is something that Joaquin, we would not have each other if we didn't have that sense of queerness and that sense of wanting to be a part of a community that reflects us. Well, before we do the whole snatch and grab, because we're so similar, and I feel like we're gonna go for something similar. We already unfortunately eliminated this lovely red vase because we're just not red people. So I know it's not gonna be that one. In all honesty, I love all the vases. I have an addiction to containers. I know. I want to take them all home like cats. This is like a 1, 2, 3.
No, you go first. You go first. You seemed ready.
I am ready.
Just go for it.
I'm gonna choose this one.
I knew
like
it.
But you also like this one.
Yeah.
Okay, but what's the one you're going to get? Because it is for you.
It's going to the same home.
But it's for you, so that's why I wanted this one.
I'll take this one.
Okay, I like that one. I also do like this one.
That was my other. Yeah.
I know, right? It's very cute.
We don't have like a round.
I like it.
One.
Looks like a little barrel.
Okay, well I'll do this one. I'll switch. I'll switch because this is for you. We met at a friend's. They used to host queer family dinner on Wednesdays. It was my very first one. They invited me. I brought some beers over and kind of. I saw Raafe when I entered. Raafe was like the social magnet in the kitchen with their dogs. Everyone surrounding Raafe. Raafe was probably telling some story. I was like, who is this person? I was incredibly nervous. I think I talked to my brother on the way in. And he's like, just go in. It'll be okay. You can always leave.
It's a Christopher?
Yeah.
I think I forgot that.
Yeah.
Aww.
And we're sitting at like the kitchen table, and Raafe came over and asked if they could have one of my beers.
I was like, hey, because it was communal dinner, and so everyone was, shares things, and I was like, there's beers in the fridge. Like, he was like, they're mine, but I brought them to share. Very, very, softly. They had this very cute, boyish haircut. It's like, like the little heavy on the front, close on the sides. So I went and got a beer and came back, and what drew me to Joaquin was this cute story he was telling. I can't remember what was being said. I do know Joaquin made a joke, and I laughed. And then I was definitely pulling the drink back as I was laughing. It was like a, long neck beer bottle or whatever. And as he said whatever he said, the beer just tumbled out of my hand. And when I say it did like a full like 360, and like all of it just like water wheeled towards Joaquin.
It felt like slow motion.
Because I was above, you were sitting down.
I was sitting down,
and I was
Raafe
above
took
you, and
care.
I literally, and I think I just like guffawed, and then just all, and the stress, I think, of the moment of spewing this beer all over this person I don't think I had seen you before, because it was your first family dinner. So embarrassed in front of everybody, and like a dinette.
All over my pants. This
everywhere.
beer. Yeah. And then you like ran and got a towel and were like dabbing me. And me, like, I guess some sort of confidence overcame me. And I was just like, if you wanted to get into my pants, you could have like.
They did.
You could have just
They
said
totally seized the moment. Oh my God, I was so mortified, and it worked on me. I messaged you first, right?
Yeah.
But then, as Joaquin says, there was a great silence afterwards.
Raafe liked the pursuit.
Joaquin was the first person who pursued me. Usually I am Lady Panther Day, having to walk up to people and say, hey. We hung out a lot. First, like, after around shows, Joaquin came to my shows, brought friends to my shows. That was very sexy. Joaquin brought the boys to the yard, as it were. We had really great conversations in my kitchen late at night after shows, ranting and raving about the world, which I still love to do.
Like, I'd go over to their house and Raafe would make me like hot chocolate like on the stove and popcorn, and we'd just like sit at the kitchen table eating popcorn and hot chocolate and talking. You didn't tell your mom for a very long time that we were dating.
I did not tell my... Joaquin was like the first serious boy. You know, there's a part of me, I like bringing my boyfriend places, and you gotta... I've been... Joaquin, I like being like, this is... Yeah, you didn't know this is my man. This is my man. It took me a while to tell my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh, I already knew."
You were so nervous.
I was
like, I think she knows. I'm
You're
here
my
all the
first
time.
real boyfriend.
And
I
then
was like,
she's like, I know.
She's like, mm-hmm.
I know.
It was obvious. Your bouquet's already shaping up much better than mine is. I look like I have never arranged flowers in my life. Even though we're homebodies, I'm like, we've been a lot of places together, and when we travel, he's trip daddy. He's planned. He knows where we're going. He's checking schedules. Like, he's like, I want to Aladdin you and show you the world. And he wants to make sure that like I'm comfortable. He's always like, what do you want to do? What do you want to go see? Get me up sides of mountains. And I've been to New York 3 times now because of you, and Mexico. Where else have we gone? Guatemala.
Norway.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Norway.
Lord, I forgot about Norway. Yeah, Joaquin's all very gung-ho about, I don't know how to say that anymore. I don't know who that man was. But we're very good about getting me out and about.
Raafe is like the best travel partner. I will do all the planning, and that's fine. I'll take it. There's like those TikToks that went around, like, this person, you know, schedules this. What do you do? And Raafe just shows up with a suitcase, which I'm fine with, you know. But Raafe is just like always down for something fun, something new, something exciting. Just like makes everything so enjoyable. When I think of like feeling most loved by you as a nurse, one of my favorite things is when Raafe packs my lunchbox. And it's always so cute. And sometimes I show my coworkers because like Raafe packs my lunchbox very differently than I pack mine. Here's a Ziploc with some like Oreo cookies, and here's an orange. And there's like stuff so much in this lunchbox. It's just like all the snacks and like gum and like lollipops, and we just like stuff this lunchbox. But I just love it. And people always comment at work like, oh, what are you eating tonight? Or like, that smells so good. I'm like, yeah, my partner made it, you know? Or like, see me like, there's just like endless lunchbox bag that I'm pulling stuff out of. And it's just really sweet, especially in the middle of like a long shift. It makes me feel very loved and taken care of and thought of. And sometimes I get home from work and I work overnights, and Raafe will be like literally in the kitchen cooking me breakfast. We're talking about early things that I'm pissed. So like you running down the hill at the wedding that we just spoke of, because I was going to put flowers, like, you know, like an auntie. Someone was like, oh, take this, take that. And I was like, oh, for sure, yeah, vase, flowers. Someone baked homemade bread at this wedding. I was like, I'll take it. And this is also, I think, my first time getting to see you a little drunk, because I drove and we had planned that and we were safe. I was taking stuff to go put it in your car. And as I'm walking back towards the venue, Joaquin is in a suit, full sprinting towards me. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like,
I thought you were leaving me. And I was like, you are drunk? This is your car? I just put a crap ton of bouquets and cake in the back of the truck. Why would I abandon you here with all of these people in your own car? Also, there's flowers in the car. You do turn into this, like, very sprite-ish character when you're giddy. Some people think of you as, you know, the wind beneath my wings, you know, you're there, you're very stoic. My sister once said, is Joaquin in a motorcycle gang? I am human. I do like that he comes off all like, be careful. But in reality, he really is like,
I will fight someone.
He's, you know, Steven Universe. He's my Steven. He's a frolicking scamp if he's in the right mood. You get a puzzle and a michelada in his hand, and he's as silly as anyone else.
I think one of the many memories I think of Raafe that is one of my favorites is when I took Raafe home back to Texas. And I live on like the border, you know, like Mexican American family, and uncles and cousins, they always like barbecue on Sundays. Like that's their thing, you know, drink beer, barbecue on Sundays, probably watch some football. Everyone shows up to this thing. So Rafi's in town, gonna bring Raafe. I'd never, I think, brought a partner to like a family thing before. Like, you know, I was a little nervous, you know, I was like masked family members can be a little like machista and things, and just like, how is this gonna turn out? You know, I'm like still sort of like navigating my transness with family, and they've been like incredibly supportive, but it's like, oh, also here's my like non-binary partner, and it's like
I haven't sure to wear pants.
And so we came, and like almost immediately like my tias and my cousins came and like surrounded Raafe and like sat them down and were like, we follow you on Instagram, we want makeup tips, we would like tell us about, and just like went into like super fans of Stormie, and it was just so cute. And they're just like, how do you do this, and what about these wigs, and like we're just asking all these questions. And like I will say about like the women in my family are like fiercely protective and will like put men in their place. It's like did not allow, and like the men were fine, like they were very friendly to like Raafe and stuff, but like they made sure there was like also like a bubble around Raafe. We're like, are you gonna perform here? We need to get you to perform here. Are you gonna have a drag brunch? We want to go see you. Like, we'll make a trip to North Carolina to see you perform. And it was just like this very like sweet homecoming, bringing my partner to see like all of this extended family, and to see Raafe so embraced by my family was like a very, very sweet thing. And they all do follow Raafe on Instagram and comment on things. And
they're like, oh my God, I love this.
It's very sweet and very, very special, and I feel very lucky to have my family and my partner be so just like have love for each other that deeply. So.
I adopted their younger brother as my DJ drag child. Yes. So we're really weaving that family lineage. And Joaquin's family, like my aunt now asks about Joaquin's family, and my mom
spent Christmas Eve together this year, and it was very cute.
It was so cute. You know, when I say like Joaquin was my producer, my agent, you know, he's been my bodyguard too. He's had to tell people calm down or back off. At least twice I have been kicked out of a bathroom for being a drag queen. And at least twice Joaquin has been with me.
We got kicked out of the restroom together.
And like at least twice. Yeah. And Joaquin was like, please let me know like when you're there and who you're going with and who you're traveling with. Even for the daytime baby shows, like
your drag story times, or like
getting bomb threats called in and showing up and police not knowing you're a part of the event, or if you're an assailant because they don't know what a drag queen is. When Drag Story Hour first started, we would get called to a lot of like the further away counties, and you know, we'd have to go in behind back doors, or it was very well known.
Like escorts in and out of buildings.
Yeah, and then sometimes it would be so thick, or if Joaquin got separate from me, people wouldn't know Joaquin was a drag performer or a drag performer spouse, or we've been in, you know, some of these local establishments in the capital of it all, and, you know, they're policing, you know, hip hop night, and people's policing the bathroom literally on behalf of the establishment, and assuming both Joaquin and I's gender, or assuming what we need from a bathroom. We've had our scuffles or things we had to walk through. Yeah. I mean, just being in a courtroom for...
Oh yeah, you did come to like all my court cases for HB2 and stuff.
And it's the way they speak to people when they're there, bailiffs or court, and they're just so rude. And it's just like, nobody wants to be here. Nobody wants to fight for their rights. Nobody knows how all of this works. Nobody's in this building. I think very on, that's where I think we became like, I think the cuddling, the cloistering, the comforting, the like cooking comfort foods and what. We very quickly, I think, began to know what like made each other feel good or feel better. Favorite foods. It's just nice to come home to somebody after being on battling. Oh, I remember when the KKK came to town and you were a medic. I was working at the salon and Joaquin was like, I'm gonna be on the medic team. And I was like, oh, in the streets? I was like, okay, yeah, my baby. You know, I'm dealing with white women who need perms and he's out there making sure people survive tear gassing if it were to pop off. Or I would watch you get ready to give speeches before and he would walk and pace, and I could see him with his flip book of his notes going over what he was going to say and like wanting to put everything he can in. Like someone who really understands the importance of having a chance to speak, and Joaquin will try to knit as much as they can into a conversation because you don't know how much time you're going to even be given or how much they're going to listen to you talk or what they're going to cut off for the TV. And watching him do that for HIV awareness or HB2 or HB1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To hear his name be connected and be the lead, him being identified as Joaquin, the lead plaintiff against the state of North Carolina, and not a lot of people have to know what he goes through doing that. Feels distant, but feels very foundational to both who Joaquin is and also what we were going through when we first started.
Been together for 9 years. We've known each other for 10. I think we've like gone through these like chapters in our relationship, and I think when we first started it just feels like such a lifetime ago. Different, like same but different people. Like it just feels like we were babies. Like it felt like new to our relationship and new to like navigating this world as like trans folks, and like I think we've just been able to like give each other a lot of space to like evolve and explore and sort of like find ourselves through these chapters throughout our relationship. And I can't see that stopping. As Raafe talks about being like a shapeshifter, and I think that is kind of like our relationship too. You put something in a container and it fills up that container. You put it in a bigger container, it'll like gases will fill up that container. I think we've always been sort of like filling up these containers. We have shapeshifted throughout our relationship, and there's never been like these like deal breakers or this like it's too much. I don't think we've ever been too much for each other. I think we've always been like keep going, keep pushing, like, and I think we've given each other like a lot of like space to be our full selves and be this like silly goofy person at home and in public. And we've given each other a lot of safety. I think we've given each other a lot of like just silliness in our relationship, especially in like a T for T relationship of like we don't have to explain things. And I think it just like it's very true. And also just like there's a different kind of expectation, or there's like a lessening of expectation on each other, that like we don't have to fulfill some like arbitrary thing about like who we are or what we're trying to get out of our relationship, or just like our physical bodies. And I think we've just like really been in tandem through our shape shifting throughout our relationship.
I already said you were a role model. What does Laverne Cox say? A possibility model. Trans elder. He is older than me. I tell people all the time Joaquin's walked every letter of the LGBTQ. He knows the stories. He was there when it was written. It makes things so much more comforting, so much easier, so much understanding. Similar woes, and they're not just our fathers.
Fathers are way too similar. It's scary.
There's so many things that sync up about me and Joaquin's family. I think that also is one of the reasons why, as trans people, as queer people as well, like, it is beautiful the way Joaquin's family responds to Joaquin, and the ways that Joaquin has truly, he's been there, done that. I know he's gonna laugh, but it's just like, and it really did, it impresses me. And he has, I used to call him a care bear. He has so much compassion despite that which he's been as a trans person, which makes me, again, want to be a better trans person. I always say I'm a lowly non-binary person, and I have to be there for my trans siblings, and every day Joaquin is like, Joaquin?
I tell them they're wrong.
I don't. Joaquin does tell. Joaquin, he's also a bisexual. That's like,
Oh my God. Just throwing everything out there. Lots of variety. You love colors, you love patterns, you love textures. So I just tried to like fulfill that. Those are my main goals. I was like, I don't know which flowers, but we're gonna get some variety. We're gonna get some fullness.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of a multicolor moment.
Yeah. You love some like little green filler, so I try to put a lot of green filler in here.
I tried to do that thing where they like open up the roses to make them look a little thick, because I know my man likes a voluptuous flower. He does like a flower with a little body. I like to put flowers by the door. I put the hyacinth by the door this year. When you come home, it smells like flowers instead of drag queen hairspray. Joaquin makes flowers. They do a lot of making of flowers for their artwork, and they look like little painted flowers that they make. I think I also tried to give a little asymmetry. You know, look, there's like a little wonky tulip there. You're an artist.
Thank you.
I love it. It's so
It looks so nice in our home.
And we're gonna be so happy about them. And we're gonna change the water. How has your definition of love changed since we've been in love with each other?
That's big.
I know.
I think a big part of love is consistency. Just like this steady love. I think it used to be this like highs and lows in relationships that's like, that's what they are, you know, you're passionate, you fight, and like all this stuff, but we just have this like steady building, consistent love. I think that's been very different for me, being like, you can feel comfort and full in love that's just consistent and that's familiar while still being like surprising. I think we don't have to like know everything about each other, but we can be curious about each other, and I think that's been something you definitely showed me, is to like stay curious about each other and let each other be curious about ourselves or about our lives.
I'm honored. I'm sorry. I like, oh. Come here. That was really beautiful. Aww.
Moving into a home, having our own home and building a home, but it's like, I don't think I ever really thought of like having a home with a partner. I think we both have thought about like, what does marriage look like, or what does like this look like for us, and we never, for ourselves independent of each other, thought about like, what does a long-term marriage or partnership look like. And I was like, we didn't always think that far ahead because we didn't know what was in store. I think our home is a symbol of that, like we're in it for a while, but like being able to just like build that home for each other.
When we first met, it felt like we're supposed to be together, but as we've been building this life together, it does feel like we've become more one. Even looking at the bouquets, I'm just like, we are very similar. We like so many of the same things, and we want so much good for the other person. And our house, like, our house has become a literal version of that, because yeah, short term, we didn't think we'd get these options or the opportunities. I'm very happy to say that, like, I got to see you go through nursing school. That was a dream you didn't think that was gonna happen. And I love being your nurse partner. I'm glad we've been able to build a life together. And I do think there's more surprises for us. I'm excited to be doing them with you.
And I'm grateful to be your bodyguard and your agent and your fan club president, and always just rooting for you and knowing that like better is still yet to come, and we are also so happy where we are now.
I love you too.